I attend some LMA events every once in a while, and the term I hear a lot is hyper-competitive market. We're in a hyper-competitive market now. It's not like it used to be. So clients are faced with an ungodly amount of proposals from your competitors. They're getting more proposals. What you're probably seeing is more of your clients are going to a more formal RFP process, and your proposal groups are probably getting bigger. They're probably doing more proposals than they did 10 years ago. Naturally, it's a lot harder to stand out. But what if our proposals made us stand out from the crowd? What if they gave us an edge over our competitors? People are more influenced by what they stand to lose than by what they stand to gain. So we're more influenced by what we stand to lose than what we stand to gain. In the science world, that's called loss aversion. We're adverse to loss. But what have we been taught? What have the marketers been taught? We've been taught, here's what you'll gain. Here's what you'll gain if you hire White & Williams to be your attorney, right? But we just learned that people are more influenced by what they stand to lose than what they stand to gain. And this works psychologically, this works on several levels. The first is loss aversion, which we talked about. The second is scarcity. We find scarcer options more enticing. So that's why diamonds are expensive, because there's a perception that there's very few of them out there, right? And anything that is unique is in nature scarce. So anything that's unique about you is a scarce commodity naturally. So that's kind of how it works psychologically. Next is the only way to beat the incumbent. A mentor of mine used to say, Matt, you can't tie the champ. You got to knock the champ out. I think the whole idea of the relationships, it's overly simplistic and it's a little misleading. So let's look at the science. What do incumbents really have going for them? Well, first, they have something called commitment consistency. So what this means is we feel internal and external pressure to behave consistently, right? So that's why if someone's a Republican and they vote Republican, you're never going to convince them to vote Democrat, and vice versa. Because once you take a stand, you're going to feel this internal and external pressure to remain consistent in your decisions. So if I say choose White & Williams as my law firm, then it's easier for me to choose them again because it's a consistent decision. So I have this pressure to remain consistent in my behaviors. And then there's something called liking, which you hear a lot about, but it's never really quite, it's not ever quite perfectly defined. But what it is that we're familiar. If I worked with White & Williams, I know the people, I'm familiar with them, and we're working towards a common goal. I was going to jail for murder, and they got me off or whatever. So I have that connection with them of this common goal and this commonality, They got my brother off too, But anyway, so that's the psychology of what the incumbents have going for them. So nobody owes your proposal a read, right? Let's do the math here. All right, does anyone, give me the answers here. Does anyone know how many words fit on an 8.5 by 11 page at 12-point font? 600. Awesome. So let's just say your average proposal is about 50 pages. And I typically don't use 12-point font, but let's just use that as an example. So that would be about 30,000 words, right? And let's say your client gets 20 proposals. Well, now we're talking 600,000 words. Now here's another question here. You get extra points for getting this right. What's the average words per minute that someone reads? 200. So when you do the math here, 20 proposals, it would take, if the person read every word, it would take 50 hours. 50 hours to read every word of those proposals. And you might think, well, that's kind of their job, to read proposals, right? But unfortunately, nobody has this job. Nobody's job is you sit in a room all day and read proposals, and that's it. You know, you're submitting to a corporate council that has about a zillion other things to do. And they don't have 50, they literally do not have 50 hours to read your proposals. So what you're giving them is a mathematical impossibility. But that's the unfortunate reality of our world. So writing a great proposal is not the hard part. The hard part is getting them to read it. That's the hard part. So that's where a tactic, and this is a little bit more an advanced tactic called the knowledge gap, comes in. So what is a knowledge gap? The knowledge gap is the gap between what you know and what you want to know. It's a copywriting tactic of creating this open loop of a knowledge gap. And I'm going to give you some examples, but this, you see this all the time. And there is an industry that is like the best at it. They're like expert at this because they have to show you one piece of paper and make you decide to buy their product. So just pick it up right there, then and there. They need to make you so curious that you just pick it up and buy it. Magazines. Putting proposals together actually costs real money, real honest-to-goodness money. And it's hard for me, sitting at my desk working on a proposal, to think, oh, this is really costing someone money to do. But it's actually legalized. When you think about it, it's legalized gambling. So the gamble you're making is really, okay, I know what cards I have. I don't know what cards anybody else has. Am I going to play this hand or not? Like, that's the gamble, right? So when you think about that, it's like, wow, what I do is pretty cool. I go to work every day and we gamble. You know, we gamble Scott's money, you know, and try to make some money. But let's look at the real cost. And I just kind of threw this. I just pulled this out of the air. But let's just say, proposal manager, you pay that person $30 an hour. They work 30 hours, $900. And then the graphic designer, $375. And then let's say attorney spends some time on it. And it comes down to $3,725. So that's like the real cost of a fairly modest proposal effort.